All right. Y'all heard that smooth jazz intro. So, you know it is time to focus, LBK. Welcome to the Focus LBK show. This is your host, Robert Jenkins. And today we are coming off of a super busy period, really starting around mid-June and really kind of culminating within the last, the last week or so. We have just been ripping and running. We had, of course, Juneteenth. We had the same day, we had the 100 Black Men of West Texas Scholarship Gala. And I tell you, that one of the lessons that I learned personally, and I think a lot of people have learned, is that, man, you cannot have these events. We got to stop having them on the same day, because I attended the Juneteenth festivities starting at about 8 o'clock that morning or so over at May Simmons, the senior breakfast. And then we went to the parade, and then we went to the gala later that evening. And boy, I tell you what, back when I used to wear a younger man's pants, going to 2 or 3 events on the same day would not have been a problem. Taking pictures, and I don't take pictures, I make pictures. I'm trying to train myself to say making pictures. So making pictures at 2 or 3 events on the same day when I was 20 something wouldn't have been a problem. The problem arises is I didn't even make pictures when I was 20. I didn't get into making pictures and videography, making pictures and videos until about 10 years ago. So I was already 40 something when it started. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a problem in a way. It's kind of a good thing, because I came at it with a lot more focus and dedication, I think, than I would have normally. But man, I tell you what, trying to rip and run when you're 50 something, you sure be looking back at them young man pants, wishing they still fit. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't mind me beating a metaphor to death. I tell you what, though, we ain't complaining at all, because first of all, we've been blessed with a reasonable measure of our health and strength. And also, we've been blessed to live in a little town like Lubbock. And I keep saying little town. People always say little town, small town. Lubbock ain't no little town. Lubbock is dang near 300,000 folks. 300. Last time I checked, man, 300,000 ain't little. If you had $300,000 in your account right now, would you call that little? I wouldn't. I would say that's pretty decent. I'd be pretty happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm a multi-millionaire when it comes to friends and family and the amount of love and support that I have. Other than that, I'm poor and broke just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we were super busy, and we really are happy about it. We're not complaining at all, because it's great to be in and among the people, the community out there, making pictures, making videos. It was really a blessing. One of the standout moments, though, talking about age and having energy and what your mission is and stuff like that. One of the standout moments that we encountered, that we were pleased to have something to do with, was the birthday celebration, the 102nd birthday celebration for Mr. Brady Baldwin, who is a long-time Lubbock resident, long-time Lubbockite. And it was good to see him again. We talked to him a couple years ago when he turned 100. And to see him again today, the other day, I think it was last Saturday? No, it was last Monday. I'm terrible with dates, but I'm pretty sure it was last Monday. We peeped out his birthday celebration. And man, the people there, first of all, was just so good. It was good to be amongst our elders. And one of the things that that's on my mind, being a gentleman of respectable years myself, although nowhere near as respectable as 102. I'm about half of that, actually. But I'm still getting up there. I ain't no spraying chicken. And you just start thinking about, man, if I'm blessed to make it to 100 years of age, I sure hope that I am as spry mentally and physically as Mr. Brady Baldwin himself was. This gentleman, I'm trying to tell y'all, I don't think Y'all gonna make me do some public math. Let me pull my calculator up. But no, I ain't even got to, because I'm gonna tell you right now, he was born the same time my grandpa was born. If my grandpa had lived, he would have been about 102. He was born in 1923. Robert Jenkins Sr., Robert Lee Jenkins Sr., born, I think he say March 29th, I want to say, 1923. Folks, that's he was born before the Great Depression. Wasn't the Great Depression in the 1929? Stock market crash in 1929? This is one thing that we are, well, I was going to say we're running out of. Clearly, we're running out of elders. The longer we live, the less elders we will have with us. And, that's why it was such a blessing to be there, because I got to see someone who, first of all, taught me, just being there at his birthday party, that, man, age is a number. Yeah, it is a number, and it does have some physical reality to it. It's not only a number. There are some things attendant that come with getting older. But at the same time, those things don't necessarily have to come with getting older. So in other words, Mr. Baldwin was spry mentally. He's getting to the point where it's a little bit difficult to understand him when he speaks. So you have to pay rapt attention. You got to look at his mouth and listen to him carefully. But when you listen to him carefully, you realize this guy's a joker. This guy's funny. And this guy's 100% right here and right now in this situation. He is not missing anything mentally, as far as you can tell, interacting with him on a social basis. That, my friends, is a blessing. That is an incalculable blessing. There is no, what did it say with that old commercial we used to watch? What was it? Was it Discover Char or MasterCard? One of them credit cards talking about, new tuxedo, $500, tickets to the thing, $600, seeing your daughter's first performance at Juilliard, priceless. This is what I'm talking about. My wife always laugh at me because me and my brothers, we say what I'm talking about. TAM apostrophe BOUT. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we country. I ain't gonna lie. Country wasn't cool. But what I'm trying to say to y'all is it is priceless to be 102 and still be in your right faculty. To have all your faculties and be in your right mind. It is, man, do you know how impressive that is? First of all, that's a testament to Mr. Baldwin for keeping himself in good shape. And he got out there and cut a rug too. Talking about mental shape. He 102. He danced about as good as I do. He might have more rhythm than me. I don't know. I was looking at him. I say, man, I don't know. He had a broom dancing around. I say, man, I would need a broom to help me dance. All my little injuries and situations going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm exaggerating slightly, but not much. So what I'm trying to say, man, is how much of a blessing it is to be able to reach the age of 102 and still be sharp mentally and to still have a reasonable portion of your physicality left over. And I was reflecting on the fact that it's just, man, it's a little bit sad for me to see sometimes some of our people in the community. And I was talking about this with Rock Sanders when he was on the show last week. It's a little bit sad when you're far younger than 102, but yet in far worse shape physically, or at least almost as bad, almost the same shape physically as someone who is 102 and you 60 something or 70 something. Wow. These are heavy things that I've been reflecting on. And you get to the point where you realize, man, we got to make some changes. I say we, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me. I got to make some changes. It's really weird coming from the fact that I was a great athlete in high school and in my 20s and stuff like that. I'm sure I didn't have the highest vertical leap and I wasn't the fastest in the 100. But man, my fastest time in 100 was like a 10.9. Now as quiet as it's kept, my real time, my regular time in 100 was like 11.2. But on a good day, one time I ran a 10.9 or a 10.8 or something like that. But I don't think it counted because I think the wind was blowing a little too hard. But I was a great sprinter. I was a great jumper. And then to see how those things change slowly over time, especially when you are dedicating yourself to, it's funny, you're dedicating yourself to supporting your family as a man. That is I believe your primary mission and duty. The reason you're put on this earth is to support your family, right? And true men don't think twice about doing that. It's not hard. It is hard. It does get to be physically demanding and mentally demanding and spiritually demanding. This is why so many men don't do it, because it's difficult. It is. However, once you start doing it, you get strength. That strength comes to you. God made you to do that. God made you to support your family. God gives you the strength and the ability mentally, physically, and spiritually to do so. That is your primary mission. But here's the thing. You get so caught up in doing it that you neglect yourself sometimes. A lot of times, not oftentimes, many times, maybe most of the time, you neglect yourself. And that's not a good thing to do. I'm often reminded of when you fly you get on an airplane. Before you take off, they give you that safety briefing, and usually a female stewardess be up there at the front of the airplane, and she be doing some smooth stuff. Usually be two of them sometimes, one in the back and one in the front. One be talking and one be amplifying with the movements, and they be telling you to pull down the mask and put it on yourself and tighten it. But the one thing they say, though, pay attention to, they say, if you are traveling with somebody who is unable to care for themselves, you have to put your mask on first and then look at your child or whatever the case may be and put their mask on. That's exactly what being a parent, a husband, a provider is about too. So what I'm saying is you got to look after yourself first. I have been guilty of this myself, been caught up so much in working hard and being at work and getting that done so you can make that cheddar, so you can make them mortgage payments and them car payments and them private school payments and this and that and the other. You forget, hey man, you need to go hit that gym a little bit. And it's not even that hard. My thing is I can do it. I get started, no problem. But it's the stick-to-itiveness. It's the dedication. It's the everyday. And it's funny because I do that with everything else. I have dedication. This podcast, every Tuesday or every week, I get a podcast ready. Rain, shine, tornado, hailstorm. That's what we're gonna most likely see. Some shine, or else some tornadoes, nadatons, as my dad used to say. Dad still say, matter of fact. No matter what, I get this podcast out. So I know, I understand dedication. No matter what, every day, I'm up at 6, on the grind by 7, getting home at whenever to make it do what it do on that front. But then, like many people, I neglect myself. And I got to think back and just remind myself, man, if you want to be 102 and still sharp mentally and physically and spiritually, there's things that you can't neglect. And honestly, I'm not even talking to y'all right now. I'm talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one got a problem with that. Why? And this is the question. Why is it so easy to dedicate yourself to something else, other things in life, but not taking care of yourself, not dedicate yourself to taking care of yourself? Why is that? It's hard to say, but it's bass backwards. It's stupid. Because like you say, if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, how you going to support the people that depend on you? Everybody know this. I mean, the stewardess tells you that on the plane, but honestly, you didn't need her to tell you that, did you? I didn't. I knew, I got to protect myself in order to protect my family, but yet I don't. And that's something, it bugs me, man. And so that's why the other day, I made a couple of appointments, you know what I'm saying, the dentist and the doctor and stuff, just go get some checkups and all that. Because honestly, as a man, I don't know what it is, but as a man, I don't particularly want to go holler at none of them cats. Don't know why. Why is that, fellas? Anybody out there know why that is? If you have a clue or an inkling or some theory or idea, why is it that so many men don't like going to the doctor and the dentist and the whatever, the who, and the what, and the what? Tell me what you think down there in the comments. Leave a comment, LBK. Like, seriously. Because I'm the same way. I'm hard-headed. I make everybody else in the house go get their stuff taken care of. Then I don't go get my stuff taken care of. Why is that? I don't even know why that is. Like my grandpa used to say, it's because I'm a man. That's why, I guess. I don't know. He said, I'm a man. Not a man, a man. He got that from, I don't know where he got it from. He never told me. It sounded like he made it up. But then again, I listened to Muddy Waters. He say, I'm a man. I spell M-A-N. That's funny too, man. Talking about the blues, because going back to Mr. Brady Baldwin, whom y'all probably can tell, I'm pretty impressed with, and I feel like I love the cat, and I don't even hardly know him, to be honest with you. I barely know him, but he liked that blues. You know what I'm saying? He got there with that broom. He was dancing, he was listening to all kind of dying home blues. You know what I'm saying? They're going to picture Wang Dang Doodle up in this mug. But yeah, it's a lot of good things going on in the LBK, and it's a lot of things going on that ain't so good. I was at the barbershop today, and it was a older gentleman, and he was talking about they got the funeral for that young cat. And I forget his name. It's who was shot in the parking lot by the police over there on Parkway Drive. By the police, the popos, the Penelopes, we used to call them. Back when I wore a younger man's pants, Penelopes rolled up on him. And apparently, from what I understand, I guess looking on Facebook and stuff, some of the parents and the family is upset and wondering why they have to shoot him so much. And yeah, it's a tragic situation. You know what? This is one thing that I've always said, too, about firearms and black people in the United States. I personally am a Second Amendment absolutist. I believe absolutely in the right to keep and bear arms. I think that any law they make against the right to keep and bear arms is unconstitutional. Because, first of all, I don't think that. The Founding Fathers said that. I think that because the Founding Fathers said that the right to keep and bear arms is absolute. The Founding Fathers intended for all free men in the country. And, of course, that didn't apply to black people back in the day. But guess what? You can miss me with all that now because you free today. And if you don't think you free, well, you gone and wallow in what you consider to be your oppression. Me personally, I'm a free man. So I owns me some firearms, and I keeps and bears them too. I got bear arms. I know you can't tell. It look like I got regular arms, but I got bear arms on me. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things about the right to keep and bear arm is that even though the Founding Fathers intended, you can read their writings, they intended for it to be an absolute right. They also mentioned that, man, dude, it takes a great deal of responsibility and maturity to bear arms. And what we see, unfortunately, in the black community is just a terrible lack of responsibility almost on every side, at every juncture. Any direction one chooses to look, I see a lack of responsibility. And get this, folks. This lack of responsibility that we're talking about, hold on, let me get up on my soapbox. I'm up on there. Now, you can't tell because I'm short anyway. It looked like I'm the same height. That's how short I am. But being up on my soapbox, that lack of responsibility, first of all, is something that a father instills in his sons. Because let's get real, most of this gun crime is black men. It's true. It's so true. There's a meme about it. Y'all don't like to hear it. I don't care. I say it. We black men are probably between the ages of about 17 to 37, 17 to 27. That's probably only about 2 or 3% of the population of the United States. But we are so violent. They have memes online. Y'all know what memes are. They got the meme, what is it, 1352, 1351? the number 13/51, you know what that refers to? 13% of the population commits 51% of the murders. That's how irresponsible we are. And it's worse than 1351 or 52 or whatever it is. It's more like 352. 3% of the population commits 52% of the murders. And those 3% are people who look like me. We love saying that phrase, people who look like me. Well, let's say it about let's tell the truth about it. People who look like me are 3% of the population, but commit 50-something% of the murders. And 90-something% of the people we murder are, guess what? People who look like me. Ain't no racism involved in that. The white man ain't holding your hand and wrapping it. It ain't no suicide device where he like on that movie. What was that movie? Shooter, where they got a wooden device with pulleys on it and they pull your arm up, make you look like you committed suicide, put a gun in your hand and pull it tight and you pull your arm up and then pull. No, ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. We are willingly packing firearms, which I totally agree with, but we packing them. We keeping them bearing these arms in a reckless, completely irresponsible manner. And frankly, I don't even want to hear nobody talking about racism no more. Oh, racism that, racism, equity this, equity. Where is equity in 352? Where is equity in that? What kind of equity is involved in 3% of the population committing 52% of the murders in the whole country? It's so sad. It's so sad. It's to the point where if you took out, and you can look on crime maps and see, it's neighborhoods, it's streets. It ain't all black people, it's streets and neighborhoods. Where in Michigan or whatever it may be, Detroit, Chicago, New Orleans, y'all know the places, right? It's streets. You can look on maps, and on the heat map, it'd be red where all the murders happen. It's zip codes. It's literally blocks. This block, that block, and that block. 3% of the population is killing 50% of everybody that gets killed in the United States. To the point where if you took out young black men, the ones that are doing this indiscriminate killing, the United States has almost no murder. Y'all heard me right. Look it up. Where Black Lives Matter on that, by the way? Where all these groups at? They ain't nowhere. They'll never talk about that. The fact that if you took out the 3% of black males that are doing all this killing, there's almost no crime in it. People always say Europe don't have guns, and that's why they ain't got their crime rate as low. No, Europe don't have young black men between the ages of 18 to 57 committing 50% of the murders. That's why their crime rate is low. I done got to the point, man. See, I'm a father. As a dad, you don't have the luxury of wallowing in self-pity. You don't have the luxury. Well, what you don't have is the luxury of teaching your kids to base their lives on falsehoods and misperceptions. You got to face the truth and look it dead in the face and say, yeah, I see you. The only way we're going to stop it is to acknowledge it. I ain't saying the things that I say to hurt nobody. I ain't saying the things that I say to make nobody mad. I ain't saying the things that I say to air dirty laundry. I'm simply saying the things that I say because they are true. I think it's somewhere in the Bible it says something to the effect of the beginning of wisdom is to call things by their proper name. Is that the Bible? I'm not sure where I got that. I think that's the Bible. Well, guess what, folks? Black people, the beginning of freedom, the beginning of a better life for more of our people, is calling things by their proper name. In other words, telling the truth about stuff. And the truth is 3% of us is committing 50-something% of the murders. So in other words, if we could stop that, the murder rate in the United States would be half of what it is. In other words, 50% of the murders in the United States are almost all of them are black. Young black men killed by other black men. This is a problem. Black Lives Matter ain't gonna fix that. Obama ain't gonna fix that. Trump didn't make it worse. That's all us, folks. It's all us. with our broke homes, with our broken homes, female-headed households with no fathers in sight. The fathers in sight that you do see teaching their kids stuff of dubious quality and utility. You know what I'm saying? This is all on us, and it's up to us to stop it. And like I say, I don't say that to make nobody mad, but I don't care if you get mad. Matter of fact, I hope you do get mad, but don't get mad at me for telling the truth. Get mad at the situation and fix it. 3% of the population is committing 50% of the murders. They say it's 13 because they just saying black people is 13% of the population of the United States. So it's 1352, but really it ain't black people committing the murders. It's a small subset of young black males, as I say, probably 3-4%. 3% committing 52% of the murders in the whole country. We are running wild. We are running rampant. I'm looking at that Carmelo Anthony stuff the other day. They still haven't released the video as far as I know, but they have let some people in the press view and take notes on some of the video that was shot by one of the cameras across the field that was looking at the tent, looking right at the tent, from my understanding. And they said you can't see faces. It's too far away. The resolution is not high enough to see people's faces, but you can see the altercation. And they say, according to these journalists, now keep in mind, I haven't seen the tape because they haven't showed it to regular people as of the time I'm recording this. But journalists from all across the political spectrum have said they have seen and they're leftists too. A lot of them are leftists. The Daily Mail, I think, that's a leftist British newspaper, saw the tape and they said, well, there is no altercation on the dang thing. Everything is cool. People minding their business, chilling. And then all of a sudden it gets stabbed. And you can see the moment he gets stabbed because everybody breaks out running. But you don't see no altercation before that. So what I'm saying is 352. 352 is what I'm saying. 3% of the population is committing 52% of all murders in the United States. From Parkway to Frisco to Chicago to New Orleans, Louisville, Memphis, everywhere, Baltimore, everywhere you got a sizable black population, you're going to see murders. And guess what? It ain't about poverty. Yeah, these murders happen in neighborhoods that are typically poor or underserved. But guess what? There was a time Thomas Sowell, the black economist, genius guy, read many of his books. He doesn't deal with this race stuff. He just show you the numbers. You can't argue with the bare naked numbers. You know what I'm saying? And he breaks it down how there was a time when poor people still had dignity. So you lived in the hood like he did. He grew up in the slums in New York, in Harlem, in New York City. But he was saying back in them days, old folks didn't get mugged. People slept on their back, on their fire escapes in the heat to get out of the heat. They didn't have AC back in them days. The 20s, talking about, probably about the 30s and 40s. He's old, but he ain't that old. He about the 40s. So sleeping in Harlem, New York on your fire escape, nobody mess with you. Old folks walking down the street with their groceries, nobody mess with them. Schools that performed. Schools where black people performed. Schools where teachers didn't fear for their lives. They taught people who were receptive to learning. This was maybe 2 generations ago. What has happened? Well, we know what has happened. The Great Society, the so-called Great Society. Let's give everybody welfare. Get the fathers out the homes. Why would you need a man if you got a check coming in? We see how that you see what you do. You need a man. I was reading a guy on Substack. I think his name. What is it called? Free Black Thought. No, I can't think of the name of the blog, but he was saying he grew up and his dad wasn't. Yeah, it was a podcast on Free Black Thought. And basically he was saying that his dad was kind of criminal-minded, as KRS-One say, criminal-minded, you've been blinded. Well, anyway, his dad was kind of criminal-minded, but he was still a pretty good dad, and he actually still set his son on a good path. But he wasn't a perfect dad. He wasn't always there. He had his issues. But just that little bit of fatherly love and guidance helped him avoid some of the pitfalls and some of the bullcorn. You know, when you say bullcorn, you got to slide them L's. You can't say bull, or you can't say bull anything else. You got to say bull. That's some bull. corn. Anyway, that's all I'm talking about, folks. Talking about really the importance of fathers here in mitigating some of the this utterly ridiculous behavior that we see from some of our own children. You know what I'm saying? It's to the point, man. You talking about black fatigue? I'm not fatigued with black people, but I've been tired of some of the behaviors I see people engaged in. Yeah, buddy. I hate to end on a negative note, man, but I've been talking, running my mouth. We do got some good things coming up, though. If you saw the podcast last week, you no doubt heard us talk about the back to school drive. June. My electronics little. Let me, here we go. They're not electronics, they're electronics. June 15th to July 31st. Rock Solid Fitness. Donate now. You can call them at 806-544-4663. That's 806-544-4663. Or you can catch them at www.ceolubbock.com, www.rocksolidfitnesslubbock. They having a back to school drive. They accepting all that stuff until July 31st. You got about another week or so, I guess. What's today? Yeah, 22nd. Got about another week. Get that stuff in there, man. For real. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. Brother Rock helping out some other brothers and sisters, little brothers. Man, what else they got? I'm looking on here because I saw something. The Tomato Festival, a fresh tomato bar, all you can eat tomatoes. That begs the question, how many tomatoes can you eat? It depends. But sounds like a good deal. July 26th next week, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's on, if y'all want to see these, man, peep them out on What's Going On. I put that out every Monday. What's going on? Back to school bash. Man, Heart of Art, a local market of creators, community and culture, 19th Street, 1409 19th Street, the Golden Hour Market from 12 to 6 on Saturday, September 27th. Yeah, sounds good. Know you got the jazzy Christmas coming up around Christmas time. All that stuff, y'all saw it. I put it out every week, man. So y'all please peep that out. A lot of good stuff going around here. I just delved back into that because I didn't want to end it on a negative note. But I'm starting to realize, man, you got to keep it real. My mission here is to elevate the level of conversation in the community. And to elevate the level of conversation in the community, you got to keep it real. And when I say keep it real, I don't mean cuss and fuss. I mean talk about real substantive issues. And that's what we do here on the Focus LBK show. Thank you for tuning in. LBK, this is your brother, Robert Jenkins, signing off. And we'll catch you next week, same time and same place. Peace.